Stickerbush Symphony. I'm going to emulate some of the patches from Stickerbush Symphony into a wavestate performance. The piece really has taken on a life of its own well beyond the original Super NES track used in Diddy's Conquest, which was the second Donkey Kong Country game. I think it's probably no exaggeration to say there have been at least one or two remixes of this tune. Now the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, didn't have resonant filters, so I cheekily borrowed the idea of resequencing multiple single cycle waveforms from the Korg wavestation to emulate the effect of sweeping the cutoff filter. I started with the saw wave, added resonance, and recorded hundreds of samples at different cutoff frequencies, editing these down to tiny single cycle waveforms and choosing around 30 of these to use in the game. And just to show you what was involved, here's an example. I'm using a wave named Fortuna. I'm going to start with no resonance and sweep the cutoff point. I'm going to do the same thing, adding resonance to give a pronounced effect. Too much resonance and we'll get self-oscillation. So I need to find a nice sweet spot to work with. Fortunately, the wavestate has amazing resonant filters, and it's incredibly easy to recreate the techniques I used in Stickerbush to get the same effect, and make it so much better. So let's start with the bass line. I'm using 16 steps for the bass sequence. I'll start with the pitch lane and expand this all the way out. I'll set the end point and the loop point, and then for step 14 and step 16, I'm going to set the value to -12 semitones, or an octave. I'll set the timing to tempo mode and set the timing for this step to a 16th. Also, make sure to take the crossfade time down to 0. Here I'm using the waveform Fortuna. This is a nice thick and warm synth sample. I'll set the shape to log down and set shape controls volume so we can hear the effect of the shape. I'm going to use the sequence lane to modulate the cutoff frequency. Now all I need to do is drag the sequence lane over the cutoff point, and then I'll set the remaining sequence lane values for all 16 steps. I'll change the filter type to MS-20 low pass filter so that the low frequencies can pass through. We'll set the starting point for the cutoff frequency, add a bit of resonance to enhance the effect, and we should be about where we want to be with this bass line. We'll have a look at the sub bass. I'd like to enhance and emphasize the first beat of every bar or every 2 bars with an octave sub drop. This needs to be a filtered saw or sine wave that quickly drops in pitch by 12 semitones. I'll start with the X bass sample, then take the cutoff and resonance values down to filter the sample. All I need to do to finish off the effect is to use the pitch envelope with the intensity set to -12. Also, so that the sub re-triggers every 2 bars, I need to set the trigger source to step pulse, set the threshold to 0, and check I have note on selected. Now I'll add the bass sequence in the background so we can hear the desired effect. Next we'll set up the gated pad. Let's have a listen to the gated pad layer. Instead of using lots of single cycle waves, I'm simply using the sequence lane to gate the volume, whilst using a low frequency oscillator with a triangle wave to modulate the cutoff frequency. I'm going to use the Unison by 4 sample. It has a really nice weighty sound to it. I'll set the shape initially to X potential down to test the gate and change it to log down for the final version. And you can see here I'm using -90 and +100 on the sequence lane to modulate the gate effect. All I need to do is drag the sequence lane over the amplitude amount. Then set the intensity accordingly in the modulations area. Next thing is to set the filter. I want the LFO to control the cutoff frequency to rise and fall over a 2-bar period. Just to finish the performance off, I need a pad to smooth over the wave sequences. I've chosen Airvox. It's a single multi-sample and I've thickened it up with Unison and detune. Next, I'll increase the attack time, change the attack curve, and increase the release time. I'm going to filter the sound, and to give it movement, I'm going to use a triangle wave for the LFO with a negative intensity, so that the cutoff frequency reduces to complement the gated pad as its cutoff frequency rises. Let's have a listen. So there we have it. That's how I take some of the patches that I use for Stickerbush Symphony and turn them into a performance on the Korg wavestate. Thanks for listening.